I've been with Neil Jones now 8 years. Prior to that, I spent 10 years managing a pepper processing plant in Chihuahua, Mexico. And that was primarily diced, sliced peppers for the theater industry. Prior to that, I spent 3 years with Louisiana Pepper Exchange, and that was in Denham Springs, Louisiana. It was a startup, and what we did is we imported pepper mash from Colombia in South America and then distributed it to different hot sauce companies throughout the United States. And then where I began my career again was Pacific Coast Producers, and that was about 13 years during my younger years. So I think that adds up to about 65 years in cannery years. So a little bit of a experience there. So I'm curious, how many in the group have been to a cannery before? So pretty much everyone. Well, that's great. How many have been to the San Benito foods plant? Okay, that's fantastic. So then I changed my story here a little bit. Sounds like you might know all the secrets already. First thing is, I want to extend an invitation to everyone in the room. If you have not been to the cannery, or if you want to come back again and see the process, everyone here is invited. Okay, so that's the first thing. I only say 2 things. You need to wear closed-toe shoes, and then most likely don't wear white, because I'm going to make sure you get some tomato spread out on you. Okay, so a little bit about the Neil Jones Food Company, San Benito Foods. It's a family-owned business, and it sounds like everyone's been to the cannery. It's been part of Hollister, at least with the Neil Jones family, for 40 plus years. And prior to that, the cannery dates back to the early 1900s. So it's just about 100 years old. There's been a cannery in Hollister at this location. Our corporate offices are in Vancouver, Washington. We also have three processing plants. We have a state-of-the-art tomato plant, our flagship plant in Firewall, California. And they process tomatoes there, but they do them in pouches. Okay, state-of-the-art plant. We also have our Northwest packing plant, which is in Vancouver, Washington. There we process peaches, cranberries, and pears. And then of course we have San Benito Foods here, where we do all of our tomato processing in a number 10 gallon can, which you might be familiar with. Our CEO, Matt Jones, is the son of Neil Jones, who unfortunately passed away last year. So he's continuing on the tradition that his father set up here in Hollister. Again, 40 plus years here is pretty amazing. So let's dive into what we do right here in town. So San Benito Foods, we have 9 processing lines. Primarily, of course, they're all gallon cans. We have 150 unique items that we run in this cannery, ranging from a whole peel product all the way to fire roasted diced salsa. We also do many other products. If you don't know if you've tried any of our products, I'll just name you a couple of our larger customers. And so we mentioned pizza, and we're a large supplier to all the pizza chains. So Little Caesars, Domino's, Panera. We have Panera in town. If you're eating any of the tomato soups and those items with tomatoes, it's directly from San Benito Foods here in Hollister. And of course, we're a large supplier of Papa John's pizza as well. A little bit about our crops. 80% of our tomatoes are grown in the Central Valley, and 20% of them are grown local here in the Hollister-Gilroy area. Our season typically runs from early July through September. And so there's a window of about 75 days where everyone in the group here that wants to travel down Sally Street, unfortunately, gets blocked off and has to go around. I do apologize for that. We process 150,000 tons a year. I know there was the quiz question was about total tons. In pounds, this year we processed 300 million tons right here at San Benito Foods. So an average day looks like about 100 loads are processed through the plant. We produce approximately 80,000 cases a day. Our typical pack for our customers is between 4.6 million cases and 5.6 million cases. And we do all this in 75 days, so you can see it's very compact and not much room for mistakes. One of the things I'm most proud about is our employees. So at San Benito Foods, we employ 550 plus employees during our high season. There's sometimes 2 and 3 generations of families that work, so we have a lot of returning employees that we're very, very proud of and happy that they're here. We have 140 year-round employees currently working right now. This includes our warehouse operation where we do all of our label casing and shipping, our maintenance staff, our electricians, and then of course our managers and supervisors. We have a significant impact on the local community during the summer. San Benito Foods, it's my understanding during the summer we are the largest employer of anyone in the entire county. So we're very, very proud of that. You might ask what we do in the other 3 months, or actually other 9 months that we're not processing. And I can assure you we're not resting. It's a very, very busy time, even though the cannery, if you drive down the street, looks like it might be a ghost town. There's really actually a lot going on. So as soon as the season ends, which just ended a couple weeks ago, we start to tear down our equipment and getting that equipment ready for our next harvest season. And it takes basically 9 months to do that. We're also reviewing tomato varieties for peelability and different studies. We're doing quality reviews. Of course, and we're doing capital projects as well. So I'm going to talk a few of the headwinds that the cannery's had over the years, and for sure during my 8 years here, and if you follow social media, of course, depending on where you live in the town, there are some headwinds that the cannery's facing, and those have been the city of Hollister has been difficult at times to get things done. And I don't want to make this too political and go into too much with that, but the city, we do have a decent relationship now, and we're moving forward. But in the past, there's been just some tough times dealing with some of the officials in town. So anyway, enough of that. We also have headwinds with the Regional Air and Water Board, and that's for environmental issues with our waste discharge. We also have some headwinds with labor. Some of you may or may not be business owners, but coming out of COVID, it was very, very difficult to secure employees, and also employees that were familiar with the type of equipment that we're running in the cannery. We have some old equipment, it's very, very specialized, and today's younger generation isn't too interested, I think, to do what we do in the cannery. It's tough work. It's 75 days. It's all 75 days straight, 24 hours a day, and so it's been very difficult to secure the labor. Inventories were high coming out of COVID as well, and we're just starting to turn the corner with that. Our pack this year was actually down a little bit for that reason, but we're looking for a bounce back coming this next year. And then of course with the economy, not as many people are eating out. Our products, we supply many of the restaurants and food service operators. And so if people are not eating out, that has a direct effect on our business. And then of course, one of the elephants in the room for the cannery is the odors, the odor issues that have happened over the years. And so, knock on wood, we didn't have any odor complaints, but it's a very, very nervous time during the season. It doesn't take but 2 phone calls to have the water air board out at San Benito Foods knocking on our door. So those are stressful times, and it's at times that at least I feel like I lose my focus. Instead of worrying about what we're doing with tomatoes, I'm worried about odors and other things. But anyway, some of the headwinds that we're facing. But I will say this on the upside, the Neil Jones Foods Company's been here for 40 plus years, and the Joneses love Hollister, and they love canning tomatoes. Mm-hmm. And so that's, through all of this, that's one of the really, really positive things. They love this community. You may or not been familiar that the cannery, we had a roof collapse here some years ago that we managed to work through. And there were some of us that were really concerned that this may be, a time that, if the cannery was gonna close, that would have been the right time, and it wasn't. So the Joneses love this community. They also continue to make investments in the plant. The last 3 years, we've had significant improvements to our production lines. We have a capital project this year where we're going to increase capacity on two of our processing lines. So that's always very, very positive. We've also, this kind of goes along with the odors, and it's something that a lot of the community may not be aware of is the Joneses and Neil Jones Food Company has spent millions of dollars out at the treatment plant to keep the cannery running, and then of course for future generations down the road, if the cannery isn't here, the industrial plant's going to be a real asset for the community and for the city of Hollister. And so I like to mention that. I think that's very, very important for the community and for everyone to know that we're making those improvements even to the infrastructure that the Joneses do not own, but to keep the business thriving. And as Christina mentioned, at San Benito Foods last year, we did have our I hate to brag, I wish my other coworkers from the other 2 plants were here, but we had one of our best processing seasons in the last 7 or 8 years. So it's been a very, very high quality product. No injuries, we didn't have any injuries this year. So our employees were safe, high quality, throughput was amazing. It's one of those years where we just raised the bar about 4 levels for our corporate office and owner of the company. So this coming year is going to be a difficult standard to uphold, but it was a very, very, very positive season. I'm very proud of our employees. I'm proud of what we do here. And I think, Hollister, the cannery here in Hollister is a great place. And I just want to mention a few of the things. The cannery may look like I mentioned, that it was, closed down there in the wintertime. It's not. We're actively involved in the community with the local food banks and charities. The local Catholic churches are donating products for their charities and some of the activities that they have going on. We're involved in the Parade of Lights, and we sponsor local softball teams here in the area. So San Benito Foods is very, very active in the community, and I invite anyone here again to stop by. Not much going on now, but absolutely the invitation is extended to everyone here during the summer. I'm very proud of what I do. I'm very eager and happy to show people what we do at San Benito Foods. With that, I think the floor will be open to anyone that might have any questions about what we do here.